Hello and welcome to Learning with Technology. In this video, I'd like to talk about being curious. If you're a curious person that likes to understand different topics and study different areas, maybe you're exploring something you're passionate about, or maybe you're interested in things that are slightly adjacent to the things that you're studying, then you might want to do some research into these areas, but you might not have time to do a full literature review. Well, that's what this video is about. It's about using an AI tool in order to generate literature reviews that can then help us understand a topic or research area, look and see what's been done in that area, and even identify different research gaps if we would like to contribute original knowledge by doing research in that area. It's called Answer This. They sponsored a previous video here on the channel. They're not sponsoring this video, but I've continued to use the tool quite extensively in order to get understanding and a comprehensive overview of different areas that I'm interested in, and you can too. Plus, they've added some new features that I think are really interesting that allow me to get even better results. We can look for publicly published papers, we can bring in papers that we found through our own research, and we can synthesize everything together in a way that's readable to give us that overview of what's happening and where there are opportunities to do further research ourselves. So let's take a look at Answer This and how it can help us if we are curious and we want to learn more about different things in the world. So I've logged in to Answer This. It's AnswerThis.io, and I've logged in with my account. You can try it for free if you just go to Answer This. I'll put a link down below, and if you are interested in upgrading to the Pro version, I can give you a discount code, Frank20, which will give you 20% off. So if you take a look here, you'll see that I'm presented with a fairly simple interface, but the complexity is there. So you can see I've got all sorts of things I can do on the side. I have guides, I have an AI writing tool, I can create diagrams, citation maps, lots of different tools that are available, and a lot of these tools you'll see here at the bottom. So I can go into my assistant, my literature review, and there's a new deep research tool that's in beta. That's why I wanted to make this video, because this is a constantly evolving product and I keep getting more and more impressed by it. So if I go into literature review, one of the things I can do is I can go to this More Features button. And this is quite useful because what I can do is I can choose whether I'd like to do a structured literature review, a dynamic research assistant, use the dynamic research assistant, or do deep research. And each of these will come with an information button that gives you some information on exactly what that is. I can choose the minimum number of citations. Maybe I want to make sure that the paper has a bit of a reputation to it, so I want a minimum of 2 citations off that paper. By default, you'll be using turbo mode, but maybe I want to go a little bit deeper, so I'll turn off turbo mode. It'll take a little longer to generate results for me, but it'll be a bit more comprehensive in terms of those results. When it comes to databases, I can choose the research papers database. I can also choose databases such as the Semantic Scholar, OpenAlex, ARXV. I'll actually put it up here. AXRV is a series of research papers on computers, mathematics, and physics. I just put that tab there. But you'll notice that I don't have all of the different databases that I would have. These are the ones that this tool can actually access. So if I do have a database or a journal article that's behind a paywall, maybe it's in a different database. If I'm a student or an academic, an instructor, or if I have access through my public library, I actually can bring in different PDFs into my own personal library with Answer This, and they'll be included in the analysis. And that's something I do recommend. So this is great for a general quick overview, a nice literature review. It's quite comprehensive using these databases, but I always want to sort of tell everyone you're not limited to just these databases because you have your own library, and in your library you can load up your own papers, and those could be papers that you got as part of your access to different journals and such. I can choose to do a web search, I can look for patents, and I might choose my library. So here I'm going to use research papers, but I'm also going to choose my library. So I'm going to choose different papers that I've uploaded. And I can change the quality of the journal. So you can see if I go into the quality of the journal, it's where these journals rank. And I might want to only take the top journals. And in fact, I might only want to take the top 50% of journals through their journal ranking. Obviously, publication date's very important, especially with the topics such as AI. So I might want to go back in time, and maybe I just want to look from January 2021 until today. So I can just drop this down and say today. And you'll notice that I can also do double checking of the citations. Again, it's take a little bit longer for the process to occur, but I get a little bit more comprehensive results. I can also, if I'm generating a literature review, I might have some custom section names that I want to put in here, so I can put those in here. But now what I can do is I'm all ready with this search, and I should actually go and put my question in here. So my question is skill development in the AI era. You can see I can go here and I can now submit my question. Now, based upon all those parameters I put in, it is now generating a literature review for me. This can take a little bit of time. I'll receive an email notification once this is done. So this might be an opportunity for me to go grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and then come back once this has been done. This one's actually going quite quickly. If I'm doing something like deep research, that can be a little bit slower, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just generating the literature review. You'll be pretty impressed with what you see. Okay, so it's finished, and notice what I have, an incredible literature review. I've got a really nice overview of skill development and adaptation in the AI era. I'll be able to go through and read this and get a really strong overview of what's being said about this particular topic. This is a great way for me to ensure that I have a great understanding of the topic, plus some specific papers that I can go to and I can read in order to get even more depth of understanding. I can modify my citation style. I can go and do things like pull this out as a PDF. I can choose specific PDFs to go and research a little bit further, extract data from the PDFs. I can export to a CSV or a BibTeX if I need to. I can look at it, my documents, as a table view. So if I want to look at my various different citations and the papers that were quoted, right? Some of these papers are available. Some of them might say that they're not available, the full PDF, but they were still able to use the abstract in order to reference them in the literature review. I would definitely not hand this in as original work. I would use this as a structured approach to understanding the research before I did my own research. It's just a really great shortcut to begin the research process. And there's a lot of things I can do with AnswerThis as well. Like I said, I can generate my own library. So there are some articles that I went through and I was able to download myself because of my own research and put them into this library so they could be part of the process. Another thing that's very cool is I can generate a citation map based upon a research paper. I can search a specific paper, or I can search based upon a DOI. So if I go back to my library here, my library should have the different DOIs in here. So I'll just grab the DOI from this specific paper. And if I copy that DOI, go to a citation map, I'll be able to paste that in, and I'll be able to do a search here. And you can see that it brings up that paper. I can set it as the origin. And then what will happen is it'll create a nice citation map for me of how that particular paper relates to other papers. And I can start building out, the number of times this paper has been cited. You can see that this paper probably bears some interest to me because it has a lot of connections to it. I can go and just fit it to the diagram here so we can move around. And, some of these papers have a lot of connections, and some of these papers are maybe, newer papers or papers that have a little less citation. So the citation map can be quite useful. From a diagram standpoint, what I could do is maybe I want to add some visualizations to my research paper, to my literature review, and I could put in, for example, I'll just paste in, well, I don't want to paste in the DOI, but I could put a diagram, and maybe I'm going to describe the diagram as a, could be a flow chart or a Git graph. Let's say we're going to do a mind map, so I can select a mind map, and that mind map, what it might be, pros, so we'll do, oh, for goodness sakes, we'll do pros and cons of AI in the workplace. And I'll just generate a little mind map on that. So we'll generate a mind map and we'll see how it does, but it'll generate some ideas that I can then begin researching further. So I really like this particular tool for generating things that I'm curious about in a structured manner that I can explore more effectively, that I can use to generate diagrams, citation maps, and that I can then use this as a beginning point for my own research. So one thing that I did want to show you as well is the prompt helper. So if I go into the prompt helper, I can go in and I can choose to identify gaps in the literature, generate a research outline. There's all sorts of pre-built kind of prompts in here. So let's say I want to identify gaps in the literature related to AI in education. So that's one that I've chosen. I'll create that prompt. That will go in here, and I can now do that search, and it's actually going to go out and identify areas or gaps in AI in education research. This might give me an opportunity to say, you know what, I'd like to explore that further. And then I could do a literature review, see what's already been done, and then I could look at those gaps and see about doing my own original research. So now I've gotten, it takes a little while, but now I've gotten this really nice gaps in literature related to artificial intelligence in education. And if I have a look here, you can see that there's some conceptual and theoretical gaps, methodological and research, design gaps. I'm not going to go through them all, but of course I would read this. I would look at the citations in here, and I have a nice little, plan for doing some research of my own. So the way that I tend to use AnswerThis is to do some preliminary understanding of a topic or an area. Then what I'll do is often do research across libraries and journals that I have access to bring those PDFs into my library, and then rerun the analysis with those PDFs incorporated into it. And I'm getting really nice results. I'm quite happy with this. It's definitely shortened my time frame for a lot of the different research and writing that I'm doing. And I'm really happy to see the evolution of the product. So I'd like to know if you're planning on trying it out, try out the free version like I said, use the Frank20 discount code if you do want to upgrade to the Pro. You have a lot of options here, and let me know what you think. If you're interested in more videos on doing research and working with AI research tools, just comment down below. Always happy to do anything that involves learning with technology. We can study that here on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.